It starts before they even open their eyes. A tiny kitten, blind and fragile, reaches out with paws no bigger than a thumbprint and begins to knead. Not because it's cute, not because someone taught them, but because something ancient, instinctive, and essential is already alive inside them. This is their first language, before they meow, before they play, before they even know who you are. They knead on their mother's belly, on the soft fur where milk flows, on the warmth that means safety and life. The rhythm isn't random, it's purposeful, it stimulates milk production, it builds strength in growing paws. But more than that, it forms a connection between movement, nourishment, and comfort. That connection never leaves them. To knead is to remember, to return. Not just to the moment they were fed, but to the feeling of being held, of being cared for, of being enough, even long after they've weaned. Long after they've grown and moved and met 100 new places. The kneading remains, and when you see your cat curl into a blanket, or rest on your lap, and begin that rhythmic, gentle pressing of their paws, they are not just playing. They are not just stretching, they are returning to a moment before memory, to a truth before thought. This is safe. You'll notice the rhythm. Slow, steady, almost trance-like. Sometimes they purr, sometimes they close their eyes, sometimes they drool. Because their entire body is immersed in a memory older than words. This is the primal need. Not a habit, but a ritual, and when they do it on you, when your lap becomes their chosen surface, understand what that means. They see you not as furniture, not as a background, but as warmth, as a comfort, as something they trust enough to return to that very first feeling, the one of being a kitten safe at their mother's side. You are, in that moment, not just a human, you are home. It might seem like a leftover reflex, a thing kittens do that just sticks around, but adult cats knead with purpose, always. Even if the meaning shifts, the message is still clear. To those who know how to listen, because kneading is not random, it's personal, it's intimate, and it's layered with meaning. Let's start with affection. When a cat needs your blanket, your hoodie, your lap, they're not just testing the softness, they're marking it with memory, with trust, with scent. Yes, scent. Each paw has glands. And when they press those pads into you, or into the place they nap every day, they're saying, this is mine, not in a possessive way, but in the way we might say, this feels like home. Kneading is how they leave behind a trace of belonging, of identity, of peace, and sometimes, it's how they speak without sound. A nervous cat may need to self-soothe, to say, I'm okay, I'm calming myself. A confident cat may need before sleeping, signaling, I trust this space. I can let go here. A loving cat may need on your chest, pressing rhythmically over your heart, reminding you in their quiet way that they feel safe with you. They don't wag tails like dogs. They don't jump or bark or beg. They knead. It's their language of love, of grounding, of presence. And they choose their kneading spots carefully, always soft, always warm, always where they feel safe, if they've chosen you. That's not an accident. That's a declaration. They are saying, you feel warmth, you feel like a mother, you feel like something I can press my whole heart into. And in that simple, ancient gesture, they tell you more than words ever could. To truly understand kneading, we must look not only at behavior, but in biology, because behind every soft press of a paw, a cascade of chemical reactions is quietly taking place. Let's start with endorphins. When your cat kneads, their body releases feel-good chemicals, endorphins that help them relax, self-soothe, and slip into a meditative state. It's not just a habit, it's a neurochemical ritual. Think of it like a runner's high, or the calm you feel under a weighted blanket. Kneading for cats is both physical and emotional therapy, a way to calm the nervous system, to reset. Studies on feline behavior suggest that kneading may stimulate parts of the brain associated with comfort memory, tied to their early nursing days. The act recreates the same motion, the same breathing pattern, and even the same hormonal response they experienced as kittens. It's like emotional time travel. a way to revisit safety, but it goes even further. When cats knead, they may begin to purr. And purring, as we now know, isn't just a sound of contentment. It's a biological healing tool. Cats purr at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz, a range shown to promote tissue regeneration, bone healing, and reduced inflammation. That's right. When your cat kneads and purrs on your lap, they're not just relaxing, they may be healing themselves, and maybe even you, because those low-frequency vibrations don't stop at their chest. They move through skin, through bones, through energy. There are even studies suggesting that cat purring may help lower human blood pressure, reduce anxiety, and calm the heart. So when a cat presses those paws into your belly and begins that hypnotic, slow rhythm, you're not just witnessing affection, you're experiencing a ritual that taps into the body's natural medicine. This is why cats knead more when they're relaxed, or when they're sick, or when they miss you. It's not a drama, it's instinctual healing. And the beauty of it, they don't even know they're doing it. It's not performance, it's not learned behavior, it's who they are. Wired for balance, built for recovery, born to press life back into stillness. One paw at a time. Picture this: you've just sat down. The room quiets, your cat approaches slowly, deliberately, then climbs onto your lap. You feel the weight settle, then a rhythm, a soft kneading motion begins. Paw, 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 eyes half closed, whiskers still. The world disappears for both of you. This is no coincidence. Kneading on your lap is one of the most vulnerable, revealing acts a cat can perform. Because for cats, closeness is earned, never demanded, never faked. They don't do things out of politeness. They don't perform for approval. Every motion is sincere. So when a cat chooses to knead on you, it's a gesture wrapped in layered meaning, but not in ownership, in belonging. Their paw presses aren't just reflex. They're embedding memory, marking emotion, writing an invisible story into the warmth of your lap. Have you ever noticed your cat looking up at you while kneading, just for a second? A glance, soft and deep. That's not curiosity, that's the connection. They are watching for presence, for stillness, for reciprocity. If your answer is yes, if you breathe and stay and meet them in that moment, you've crossed a threshold. You've entered the space where your cat lets go. Kneading on you is not a demand, it's not a test, it's a surrender. They are giving you their trust, their softness, their inner kitten, and they expect nothing in return, except that you let them be. Because to a cat, love is not loud, it's not desperate, it's not flashy, it's rhythm, it's staying in that moment. When paws press gently into you, over and over, that's not just comfort, it's communion. There's a quiet kind of magic in the moment before a cat rests. Not sleep yet, but the lull, the transition, the little ceremony they perform before surrendering to dreams. And often that ceremony includes kneading. Soft blankets, fuzzy sweaters, pillows, robes, even folded laundry. Anything with give. Anything that feels like it could hold them. Watch closely next time your cat circles and presses their paws into a blanket. That gentle rhythmic massage that seems to go on forever. It's not just getting comfortable, it's something deeper, something ancestral, long before they were house cats. Before cozy beds and sunlit couches, their wild ancestors needed to create a nest from leaves, grass, or earth. They needed to press it flat, to test the warmth, to check for danger. So kneading was a way of shaping the world. Of saying, this space is mine, I've made it safe, I've softened it with my touch. Even now in your home, with no predators, no wilderness, that same impulse lives on. Each press of the paw into that fleeced blanket is more than habit. It's comfort through ritual, it's calming the nervous system with repetition. It's grounding before vulnerability. And the choice of material matters. Cats instinctively seek textures that remind them of warmth, of the softness of a mother's belly, of the security they once felt curled against their siblings. That's why your favorite hoodie, your faux fur throw, or that old wool blanket becomes their go-to spot. It's not random, it's because those fibers feel like memory, like belonging, like softness they can shape with their paws. And trust with their heart. Sometimes you'll even hear them purr as they knead. Eyes fluttering, body limp, that's their way of saying, I've made this space mine. So next time your cat climbs into the folds of a warm blanket and begins that slow, deliberate kneading ritual, know this, they are not just preparing for sleep. They are returning to instinct, to safety, to something older than thought and deeper than memory. And in the heart of that blanket, they've found something precious, a space they softened with love. It starts the same way, a soft, rhythmic motion. Your cat climbs into your lap, curls into position, and begins to knead. You smile until the claws, they extend, they press, and suddenly your peaceful bonding moment turns into tiny stabs of pain. But here's the thing. They're not trying to hurt you, they're not being rude or aggressive, it's something else entirely. Claws in the kneading ritual are not weapons. They're tools. Let's break it down. When a cat uses their claws during kneading, they may be stretching deeply, getting into joints and tendons. Marking territory, their claws carry scent just like their paw pads. Expressing intensity, a deeper trust, a deeper emotional release. Releasing tension, almost like feline acupressure. It's important to remember, cats are creatures of instinct. They don't always calibrate their movements to human comfort. So if your cat is especially stabby when they knead, it might just mean they're emotionally all in, fully relaxed, fully safe. And sometimes a little too into it. Kittens often knead with claws because they need to stimulate milk. That strong pressing motion is associated with success, with nourishment, with security. Adult cats may carry that pattern forward, especially if they were weaned early or separated from their mother too soon. It's not a flaw, it's a memory loop, one they never outgrew. And here's something beautiful. Many cats over time will learn to retract their claws if they feel you flinch, if you gently move or yelp. They often adjust, they learn your boundaries if you teach them kindly. A soft blanket on your lap helps. So does redirecting their kneading to a pillow or cushion when it starts to hurt. Because they're not doing this to you, they're doing it with you. If that safe place is you, well, you've earned more than just a purr. You've earned trust sharp enough to sting, but soft enough to speak without words. Sometimes kneading isn't peaceful, it's heavy. The motion is still slow, still rhythmic, but there's a different energy in it, a kind of quiet ache. It might happen after a change, a move, a separation, the loss of another pet, or the absence of you, and suddenly your cat finds a soft shirt, a place that smells like someone no longer near, and begins to knead, again and again. Not to get comfortable, but to hold on to something, to keep a thread connected to a presence they can no longer see, because cats grieve too, they remember, not just in thought, but in scent, in habit, in where they place their bodies. And kneading becomes a way of saying, you were here, I felt safe here. Some cats may need more when you've been gone for a few days. They'll press their paws into your bag, your laundry, your bed. They're not being clingy. They're reconnecting to the thread of you. Others need when a beloved animal friend is no longer in the house. The blanket they used to share, the couch they once curled up on, they return to it and knead. Not because they don't understand, but because their body needs a ritual to cope in the silence of their world. Kneading is a language of longing. And if you've ever cried, truly cried, and had your cat come to your side, curl up and begin kneading. They're doing more than comforting you, they're mirroring grief, sharing stillness, and pressing their quiet love into the air between you. Because even in loss, even when nothing makes sense, cats remember how to feel through their paws. They don't write poems, they don't leave notes, they knead, and that, in their sacred, ancient way, is a kind of prayer. It's quiet, still dark. The world hasn't woken yet, but something soft stirs beside you, a weight shifts. A tail brushes, then kneading, before your alarm, before the sun, before anything makes sense. Your cat is there, calm, focused, alive with purpose. kneading into your blanket, your chest, your skin. Why now? Why this ritual before daybreak? The answer lies in instinct, rhythm, and something deeper, something ancient. Cats are crepuscular by nature. That means they're most active at dawn and dusk. Those liminal hours between light and dark, where the world feels softer, less noisy, more real. To them, this is when things begin. And in this sleepy twilight, kneading isn't just comfort, it's a transition from sleep to waking, from dreaming to presence, from stillness to attention. Kneading at dawn is your cat resetting their nervous system, preparing their body for the day, reclaiming their space, and in many cases reconnecting to you. Because in the wild, feline families wake together, they groom each other, press against one another, create physical contact before they rise. Your cat, even if they've never seen the wild, carries this rhythm in their bones. It's not random, it's relational. It's how they check if you're still safe, still present, still warm, and in that sleepy gesture, there's an emotional message too. Yes, it might interrupt your dreams. Yes, the claws might make you flinch, but the truth is, to a cat, there is no better way to greet the morning than by pressing love, memory, and presence into the heart of something that matters, which in this case is you. Not every cat has the luxury of a full kittenhood. Some are separated early, some lose their mothers, some are bottle-fed and raised by humans. Some are rescued, abandoned, or born into places where warmth is scarce. And in these tiny, fragile beginnings, kneading takes on a whole new meaning. Because for kittens, kneading is not just a behavior, it is survival, it is instinct. It's how they stimulate milk flow while nursing. It's how they find comfort, connection, and security, all from that rhythmic motion of the paws. Now, imagine this, a kitten needing a soft towel instead of a mother's fur, or a sock or a blanket, or the wrist of the human bottle feeding them. That kitten is trying to bridge the gap between what their body remembers and what reality is missing. Kneading becomes more than action. It becomes yearning, it becomes memory. Without memory, touch without understanding. And for these cats, especially those who were orphaned or weaned too soon, kneading may last longer into adulthood. It may become more intense, more frequent, more emotional. Some may even suckle while kneading on blankets, shirts, even skin. It looks strange, sometimes even concerning. But it's not misbehavior, it's grief in motion. It's the nervous system trying to recreate a kind of safety it never fully got. And it's beautiful in a heartbreaking kind of way, because it shows us something profound, that cats, even the quietest ones, carry stories in their paws. They don't complain, they don't ask for therapy. They press those tiny feet into a surface and hope that somehow it feels like mother. If you live with a kneading cat who was once orphaned or rescued young, know this: you are not just a caretaker, you are a stand-in for the thing they missed. A stand-in for safety, warmth, touch, home. Let them press into you, let them remember through their paws, because sometimes kneading isn't just a habit, it's healing. Cats don't have photo albums, they don't tell stories out loud, they don't keep souvenirs from childhood. But they do remember. They remember in scent, in sound, in space, and they remember in movement. Kneading, for many cats, is one of the oldest patterns written into their nervous system. Emotion that is not just physical, but emotional muscle memory. Think of it like this: every time a cat kneads, it's like a loop is playing, a silent record of what once brought comfort, a rhythm from another time. That's why kneading can suddenly appear in specific places. A bed they haven't slept on in months, a shirt you wore during a hard time, a certain rug they used to knead as kittens. It's as if their paws are reaching through the present and pressing into a past they can still feel. Some scientists believe that cats associate surfaces, smells, and even sounds with earlier periods of life, that the act of kneading can trigger emotional recall. Not in the way humans consciously remember, but in the way the body feels something again, like déjà vu or the familiar ache of nostalgia. You might notice your cat begins kneading more often during big life shifts, a move, a new person, a return from travel, or even the change of seasons, it's not random. It's because they are grounding themselves in something familiar, something they can control, and kneading is their way of saying, the world changed again. This is especially true for older cats. As they age, memory becomes more fragmented. But the body still knows, the body still seeks ritual, the paws still press, and in that act, a cat can return to a moment that brought safety, to a person who once held them, to the warmth of a home they loved, to a scent that once meant everything. They don't speak about it, they just knead. Eyes half closed, body relaxed, soul drifting quietly through time. So when you see your cat pressing their paws into a blanket, a couch cushion, your chest, know this: they might not be living in this moment. They might be visiting an older one, a sacred one, one only they can feel. And in that moment, you're not just watching a behavior, you're witnessing memory, alive and rhythmic, soft and sacred, private and real. It's one of the most peaceful sounds on earth. That soft, low rumble, steady, hypnotic, comforting. And when your cat curls up, closes its eyes, and begins to knead, often the purring follows, or leads. It's easy to assume the purr means happiness, and sometimes it does. But the truth, like most things feline, is deeper than that. Purring is not just a sound, it's a signal, a therapy, a form of communication wrapped in rhythm and vibration. And when paired with kneading, something special happens. Think of it as a body prayer. The paws press. In, out, the chest vibrates. A sound only they can make. This isn't just cute. This is a nervous system at peace. Kneading plus purring together create a loop of comfort that cats enter when they feel deeply safe, or when they need to feel safe. In fact, research has shown that the frequencies of purring between 25 and 150 Hz match frequencies used in physical healing, bone growth, pain relief, tissue repair. So when your cat is purring while kneading, they're not just soothing themselves emotionally. They're potentially healing themselves physically too. It's restorative, self-guided, beautiful. Now let's flip it. Sometimes a cat kneads and purrs not because everything is perfect, but because something hurts. They may be scared, anxious, lonely, recovering from illness, or just overwhelmed by change. Kneading and purring together then become their form of coping. Not crying, not running, not fighting, just pressing and humming until the storm inside them quiets. If they do this while sitting near you, or on you, you are their safe harbor. You are their anchor. You are the chosen space where healing is possible. The paws do the remembering, the purrs do the calming, and in that stillness, something beautiful takes place. You are no longer just a person, you are a sanctuary. A lullaby, a rhythm they trust. Feel the poetry of it, the softness, the return to peace. You're not just petting a cat, you're witnessing an emotional lullaby, one written not in words, but in warmth, sound, and touch. You may have noticed something peculiar in a room full of people. Your cat doesn't just pick anyone, they walk slowly, pause, then make their decision, and before you know it, they're in a lap, settling in, paws beginning to move, rhythmic, calm. Certain they've chosen their person. Again, but why? What makes a cat knead on one person and not another? It's not random. It's not just convenience. It's something deeper, something they sense. Cats don't just need to feel comfort. They knead where they feel safe, where they feel emotionally anchored, where the energy feels soft, familiar, and grounding. Yes, your smell matters, your heartbeat, your warmth, but more than that, your state of being matters. Cats are intuitive. They pick up on nervous system regulation, on emotional tension, on stress, on ease. And so when they choose you to knead on, it means your presence does something for them. You are their calm, their ground, their sanctuary. And no, this doesn't mean they don't love the others in the house. But the act of kneading is intimate. It requires vulnerability, trust, repetition. It's like a child choosing a favorite blanket. Not because other blankets aren't warm, but because this one feels like home. And in that kneading moment, they're not just expressing affection. They're creating a physical bond, They're leaving their scent, they're marking you with comfort. You might even find that your cat chooses you at specific times, when you're sad. When you're resting, when you're still, that's not a coincidence, that's attunement. They feel when your emotional walls are down. And they meet you there, paws pressing, breath steady, purring soft like a lullaby. And in that space between you, there's a conversation. Wordless but rich, we don't need to talk, they say. So if you've ever wondered why your cat chooses you, again and again, to knead on, to settle on, to soften into, know that it's because something about you says, it's safe here, it's warm here. And that is a sacred thing. You've heard the jokes before. And yes, cats can be strategic. They can learn routines, respond to your habits, time their behavior just right. But kneading is different. Kneading is older than strategy, older than clever tricks, older than the human-cat relationship itself. Kneading was there before food bowls, before toys, before treat bags and routines and feeding times. Kneading began in the dark, warm nest of kittenhood. Before language, before logic, before knowing how the world works. So when a cat kneads, they're not performing a trick, they're falling into a truth of Blackheart sensory memory, Blackheart emotional imprint, Blackheart internal rhythm, Blackheart knead without shame. It's easy to misunderstand this, especially when kneading happens right before feeding time, or when they press into your lap and immediately look up with big eyes, expecting something. But here's the distinction, they're not kneading to get something, they're kneading because this is how they feel close to something they trust. It's like hugging someone just before asking them for help. The hug is still real, the knead is still sincere, and the connection's still sacred, because kneading at its core is about safety. You can't fake it, you can't force it, you can't train a cat to do it authentically if they don't feel it. So yes, your cat may have learned that kneading gets your attention, but the behavior itself wasn't born from trickery, it was born from instinct, comfort, the need to reconnect to something soft, rhythmic, and real. And perhaps that's what makes it even more meaningful. Your cat is a complex being. Smart, capable, observant, but when they knead, they are showing you the part of themselves that isn't calculating. The part that is just being, just feeling, just remembering. So when someone laughs and says, "Oh, your cat is manipulating you again," you can smile, because you know something deeper. Your cat isn't using you, your cat is trusting you. And that's not manipulation, that's a miracle. Have you ever watched a full-grown cat? Strong, sleek, majestic. Suddenly curl up, close its eyes, and begin kneading like a newborn. Paws moving rhythmically, body tucked in tight, purring softly. It's like they melt, and at that moment they're not a hunter, not a grown adult, not a solitary, aloof creature. They are a kitten again. But why? Why do grown cats still knead with the same instinct they had as newborns? The answer lies in something called neoteny, a scientific term for the retention of juvenile traits into adulthood. It's what happens when certain animals, through evolution or domestication, keep behaviors that once belonged only to babies, and cats, it turns out, are masters of this. When a wild feline grows up, many kitten behaviors fade. But in domestic cats, those behaviors often remain, because they live in a world that allows it. A world where food is offered, where comfort is available, where soft laps replace wild dens, and human hands mimic the warmth of a mother. So when your adult cat kneads, they're not regressing, they're returning to a place inside themselves, where the world was soft, predictable, and kind. They're not acting childish. They're expressing a core memory, woven so deeply into their being. It never left, and in a way they are saying, no matter how old I get, part of me will always need this softness, this rhythm. Even the proudest cats, the ones who strut through the house with confidence, may knead in secret, on a quiet blanket, in the middle of the night, or when they think no one's watching, because that kitten part of them is not a weakness. It is a quiet, pulsing truth that says, I once belonged to something bigger than myself. And if that something is you, if they climb onto your chest and press their paws into your body, they are letting their guard down. They are becoming the forever kitten. They never stopped being, even if they hide it the rest of the day. That's the paradox of cats, isn't it? So fierce, so independent, and yet so willing to become small again. Just for a moment, if the rhythm feels safe enough. Not all pain is loud, not all stress shows itself in dramatic ways, and not all healing looks like sleeping in the sun. For cats, one of the most powerful ways they cope with discomfort, with loneliness, with change, with grief, is touch. But not just being touched, creating touch with their own paws through the soft, repetitive press of kneading. This isn't just cute behavior, it's nervous system regulation. When a cat kneads, their body returns to a familiar rhythm. Like a lullaby they write with their limbs, a tempo their brain recognizes from kittenhood, in, out. In, out. It's calming, it's grounding, it's somatic therapy in motion. Some animal behaviorists even compare kneading to human self-soothing actions, tapping your fingers when anxious, rocking gently in a chair, humming a tune when the world feels overwhelming. These repetitive motions signal safety to the brain. So when your cat begins to knead, they might be returning to that self-regulation mode, trying to calm themselves down, trying to shift their body out of fight or flight and into rest and restore. It's their way of integrating, of releasing what they held in, of choosing calm, and here's something even more beautiful. Kneading can also be a way of transferring stress, letting go of it through physical contact. They're not asking you to fix them, they're just asking to be with you. While they fix themselves, in that is a deep kind of healing. The kind done in silence, in softness, in the simplest of motions. One paw at a time. Every cat has a story. Some were born into warmth and safety. Others were rescued from chaos or neglect. Some never knew their mothers. Others lost them too soon. These early chapters leave imprints, not just on behavior, but on memory, on emotion, on instinct. And kneading, this simple, repeated motion, is often where those emotional imprints show up first. Because kneading isn't just about comfort. It's also about recreating a time and place when everything made sense. And if a cat never truly had that moment, they might seek to make it now with you. If your cat was orphaned too young, or if they were taken from their mother before they were ready, kneading may become more intense, more frequent, more desperate. It's as if they're saying, I didn't get enough of this when I needed it most. You might see them kneading on plush blankets, your clothes, your arm, or even your face. Eyes closed, breath soft, paws pressing with deep intention. It's grief meeting comfort. It's instinct reactivated through love. And what's even more moving, if your cat kneads only on you, or does it most when you've been gone, or chooses you over all others, it means their imprint is being rewritten. You're becoming the safe memory they never had. You're becoming the rhythm their heart longed for. You are, quite literally, helping them rewire trust through touch. And that's why kneading can look so different from cat to cat. Some do it gently, some knead with claws out. Some press hard, others barely move their paws. Each variation says something about their past, their needs, their coping, their longing. So the next time your cat begins to knead, don't just see repetitive behavior, see a message from their past. See a doorway into their emotional blueprint. That's not just behavior, that's healing, that's legacy, that's love. It begins sweetly, the soft purr, the gentle rhythm, the warmth of a cat curling into your lap. You close your eyes and then ouch. A sharp pinch, a sudden jab, tiny claws pressing into your skin, and still they keep going, eyes half closed, purring louder, blissfully unaware that you're wincing beneath them. So what do? You don't want to push them away, you don't want to break the moment, but you also don't want to sit in quiet pain, pretending that love doesn't sometimes come with claws. This is the delicate dance between human and cat. Can we love fully while also respecting limits? The answer is yes. In fact, boundaries are part of love, not a threat to it. But first, understand this. Your cat isn't trying to hurt you. They're not clawing you. They're kneading with instinct. Claws extend as part of the motion, especially when the cat is relaxed. They may not even realize it's uncomfortable for you. In their mind, you are a soft surface, a safe space, a pillow with a heartbeat. So how do you gently guide their behavior without disrupting the bond? Here are a few soul-kind ways. 1. Use a soft barrier. Place a folded blanket or thick shirt between your skin and their paws. It keeps the rhythm and warmth but softens the impact. 2. Reposition their paws. Some cats respond well to a gentle redirection of their front paws onto fabric nearby. They still get to knead, just not on you. 3. Trim their claws regularly. Dull claws equals no pain. It's not about punishment, it's about mutual comfort. 4. Speak softly. If the pain is too sharp, use a calm voice. Cats may not understand your words, but they feel your tone. Your body softens and they take that cue. And here's something deeper to remember. Setting boundaries doesn't break trust. It teaches your cat that love is sustainable. That your lap will always be available if it's not a source of pain. That connection doesn't require discomfort. And that even sacred rituals can have gentle limits. Because your body matters too, your comfort matters. And any relationship, human or animal, thrives when both sides feel respected. So don't feel guilty if you shift your cat. Don't feel ashamed if you flinch. You're not rejecting their love, you're creating space for it to last. And your cat, wise and intuitive as they are, will learn, they'll adjust, they'll try again. Because what matters most is still there, the rhythm, the bond, the quiet moment where two species meet in softness. Imagine a timeline of a cat's life. At one end, a tiny newborn, eyes still closed, mouth searching for warmth. At the other, a slow-moving elder, whiskers white with time, resting in the sun. And in between, a lifetime of kneading. Because this motion, this instinct, isn't just something they do when they're young. It grows with them. It shifts. It transforms. But it never really disappears as a kitten. Kneading is pure survival. It stimulates milk flow, it activates muscles. It builds the first bonds with their mother and siblings. It's not a habit, it's instinct in its rawest, purest form. But more than that, it's imprinting. That feeling of security, rhythm, and reward is carved deep into the nervous system. Even after weaning, the motion remains like muscle memory tied to emotional memory. As a young adult, now the kneading begins to shift. There's exploration, independence, a desire for comfort on their terms. Some cats need less during this stage. They're hunting, playing, running, testing the world, testing themselves. But in quiet moments, you'll still see it, the nighttime knead, the after-nap rhythm. The lap moment when they finally, silently trust you. It's now about bonding, not survival. They need to say, "You're safe." As they mature, kneading returns with deeper intention. It becomes a ritual again, not out of need, but out of memory. Some cats develop kneading spots, the favorite blanket, that one corner of the couch, your sweater. They'll return to it like clockwork, pressing their paws into it with practiced grace. Eyes distant, as if reaching backward through time. It's no longer just instinct, it's comfort as meditation. They need not just to feel good, but to remember what good feels like. In old age, the kneading may become slower, softer, more careful, but it's still there. Even if arthritis stiffens the joints, even if they can't climb like before, even if their world has grown quieter, you'll still see the motion. Gentle paws pressing into a lap, a blanket, or even thin air. Sometimes it's almost dreamlike. They seem lost in thought, as if the rhythm pulls them into something before thought. And maybe it does. Maybe kneading in old age is a way of reconnecting to all the lives they've lived. The kitten, the hunter, the nurturer, the companion, all in one moment, all in one motion, a memory not spoken but felt. So when you see your cat knead, remember it's more than a reflex, it's a timeline, a biography. A lifetime of trust and comfort expressed through rhythm. From the first heartbeat they felt under a mother's fur, to the last nap they take beside you. Kneading is the thread that ties it all together. Not all cats knead. Or at least not where you can see. But let's take a breath here, because kneading, while common and meaningful, isn't the only way cats express comfort, connection, or inner calm. Some cats are simply wired differently. Their personalities may be more reserved. Their pasts may include early weaning, trauma, or a lack of soft places to knead. Or perhaps they knead, but not when you're looking. Kneading requires vulnerability. It's a returning to a kitten-like state. And for some cats, that openness feels too exposed. So instead of pressing into your lap, they may need their bedding at night, the inside of a hiding spot, or a place that feels absolutely safe and private. Others may skip the kneading gesture altogether and show their affection in different forms. A slow blink across the room, a tail softly curled around your leg, sleeping with their back turned to you, which is actually a deep sign of trust. Gently rubbing their head against your hand, and then casually walking away. They're not cold. They're not broken. They're fluent in another love language. Still, if your cat used to knead but suddenly stops, pay attention. It may be about self-protection or physical limitation. So observe with compassion. Notice changes over time. Offer soft blankets, low-stress spaces, and gentle affection without demand. And most importantly, never take it personally, because cats don't withhold kneading as punishment. They're thinking in feelings, not logic. And if kneading disappears for a while, know that trust can still be present. Love can still be growing. Connection doesn't need to be loud to be real. Some cats love quietly. And that too is sacred. It's late, the house is quiet. The moonlight filters through the window, and in a cozy corner your cat sleeps curled like a comma in a story still unfolding. Suddenly their paws twitch. A soft, rhythmic movement, almost like kneading. But they're not awake. They're not on your lap. They're somewhere else. Somewhere inside. What are they doing? Where are they going? This is where science meets mystery and love meets wonder. Because the truth is, cats, like humans, dream. We know this from brainwave studies, which show rapid eye movement REM sleep, a state linked with vivid dreams, emotional processing, and memory replay. And when a cat's paws begin to move in that familiar pressing pattern, some believe they are not just sleeping. They are reliving the rhythm of kittenhood, the warmth of a mother's body, the trust of being held, the scent of your lap after a long day, the sound of your heartbeat beneath the surface of a blanket. It's not just muscle memory. It's an emotional memory. It's the unconscious reaching for what felt good and safe and whole. But it may also be something else, a rehearsal, a kind of practice for tomorrow. Like our dreams, which sometimes prepare us for conversations we haven't had yet, or fears we haven't named, your cat may be needing in sleep. Because tomorrow they'll need that comfort again, or because they are reconnecting with something lost, a warmth that still lives in their bones, and perhaps in those quiet moments. You are there with them, not physically, but in the rhythm, in the memory of trust, in the silent, invisible tether between species, who don't share words but do share love. So if you ever wake in the middle of the night and see your cat twitching softly, paws pressing into a dream, let your heart rest too. They are okay. They are not alone. They are dancing through the softest parts of their past. And maybe, just maybe, they're dreaming of you, because kneading is more than behavior. It's a memory, it's an instinct, it's a ritual. But above all, it's a love letter. Written not with words, but with paws. So much has been said without a single word. One gentle paw at a time, your cat tells you everything. About where they've been, about what they trust, about who you are to them. Because kneading isn't just a habit. It's not just an instinct carried from kittenhood. It's a thread woven into the fabric of their memory, their emotion, their being. They don't need language like ours. They have rhythm, they have rituals, they have silence that speaks louder than sound. And when you feel the weight of their small body curled on your lap, kneading gently into your skin or into the blanket that smells like you, You're witnessing trust in its purest form, not demanded, not performed, just given unasked. Unforced, unmistakably real. Let it be what it truly is, a memory, a moment, a miracle. And sometimes that's all we need to know.